Welcome to the Los Borrachos Happy Hour with your host, three-time fantasy champion, your new commish, Los Borrachos.
What up? What up? What up? Hell yeah, week 6. Moving on. If you're coming off a loss, let's bounce back. Coming off a win, keep it going. Yeah, let's move on to week 6. So I'll go over injury news. I'm not gonna do the top 10. I figure you guys know who's ranked in the top 10. I mean, unless you guys want me to do it, but I mean, you guys have your own rankings as far as top 10. I'll go over the standings. I'm gonna let you know who's on bye. I'll go over the matchups, and then towards the end, I'll give you guys a little bit of updates on events that we have coming up, and a little bit, maybe a little more information on some of that shit. Um, yeah, let's get it going. Injury news brought to you by Instagram Doctors. All right. So yeah, I'll just go over like some of the injury news. Like I said, as the intro said, these are from doctors that I follow on Instagram and on YouTube. They do a lot of injury news as far as seeing how much time the player could miss according to their injury and stuff like that, and practice reports. So that first one, Derek Carr, he's supposed to be out 2 to 4 weeks. That affects pretty much all the Saints players, Chris Olave, Rashid Shaheed, and Alvin Kamara. They're supposed to put in either the backup or the rookie. They were saying the rookie's a good passer, but he runs the ball. Just drafted. I don't think he's learned the playbook that well yet, but it sucks for Saints players. Also, came out this morning. Nico Collins going on IR, so at least 4 weeks. And then when he comes back, it's just a tricky situation with a hamstring. You don't know how their body's gonna react to coming back after a hamstring like that. Especially he's had a history apparently with that same hamstring. Um, and so yeah, man. Nico Collins, he was he was the number one wide receiver as far as yards and stuff like that. So sucks. The Rook, dealing with injuries now. Aaron Jones also on his team with a hip flexor. They said 2 to 3 weeks. But he's an older back, has dealt with a lot of injuries in his career. They're saying maybe week 8 return. That would be pretty much 2 weeks from now. 3 weeks from now, because since he's on a bye. But yeah, sucks. Joe Mixon, they said he probably had a setback during practice. That's why they already came out and said he might not play this week. But yeah, that sucks for Joe Mixon. David Njoku, they say he could play this week, but he might be limited. Still, I wouldn't trust anybody on the Browns for now, unless Jameis Winston comes in. Dude, they're supposed to be pretty good. They got 2 of their offensive linemen back. I don't know what's going on with Deshaun Watson. Damian Pierce could return this week. They said he's back at practice. He's doing things. So he should be back. I mean, I don't know what that means for him. Pierce, Cam Akers, and Agumbawale. I think Agumbawale's role stays the same because he was a pass catcher. But yeah, it's gonna be a mess in that backfield. Christian Watson, they're saying maybe week 7 or week 8, but might bring him back like limited, like not give him a full workload because it was a high ankle sprain. So that's at least 3 to 4 weeks. Cooper Cup was out on it. Joe Mixon was out on it, and I guess I think with Joe Mixon is that he tried to go back. Well, he went back in, tried it, and then I guess during practice is when he had the setback. Jonathan Taylor is not practicing today, so they're saying he might sit another week. Another week for Trey Sermon or Tyler Goodson. It's just a tougher matchup this week against Tennessee, so just keep that in mind. Nick Chubb, they're saying he can return this week. Stefanski said they're taking it day by day with him as far as how he feels after practice and stuff like that. But again, I don't trust that offense with Watson in the back. I mean, Watson as a quarterback. But yeah, it sucks because he's a good player. Devin Singletary dealing with that groin. Saying he could return this week because it wasn't too bad of an injury for him. He could have returned last week, but they decided just to let him rest it up. I don't know, man. Tyrone Tracy looked pretty good. Fuck, man, I should have kept that guy. I had he was my preseason sleeper, but I dropped him. But yeah, so Singletary could return this week. TJ Hawkinson, they're saying maybe that matchup against the Lions, they'll activate him and have him play. Obviously, he can't play this week because he's on bye. And players who are supposed to return back from injury is Anthony Richardson, Malik Neighbors, A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, and Evan Ingram. So, yeah, getting a good amount of players back, especially all those Eagles. Hopefully, they could make a second run after this bye. I'm sure they needed it with all those injuries in that offense. I think they're also getting a lineman back, so that should also help Jalen Hurts. So yeah, that's all the injury news I got for today. Maybe I'll get some more notifications as I'm doing this video with all the practices going on.
This week's team standings brought to you by Los Borrachos.
All right, and on to the standings. In first place, we have the Rebel Scum. Second place, the Rook. Third place, the Warhammers. Fourth place, Los Borrachos. Fifth place, the Arab Sensation. Sixth, Mike and the Boys. Seventh, Nighthawk. Eighth, Los Tanks. Ninth, OG Men. And in 10th place, the En Fuegos. Rebel Scum on a 4-game winning streak. At 4-1. Look at that. Good shit, man. I see those being last place punishments really lit a fire under your butt. Rebel Scum. The Rook in second place. So we have from second to sixth place all 3 and 2s. That's crazy. But yeah, points wise, the Rook should be first place. And then 7th through 9th, all 2 and 3. And then the En Fuegos at 0 and 5 has lost 5 in a row. I thought he could have won last week. It looked like, damn, by 1 point. It's just your team's not putting up points. You have the least points against and the least points for. OG Man with the most points against out of everybody. So you could see why he's 9th. And the least, obviously, Rebel Scum. That's why he's first place. Crazy. So yeah, man. The Arab Sensation on a 2-game winning streak. Los Tanks on a 2-game losing streak. All right. See if some of these guys get this going. Let's go over the matchups.
League matchups.
Let's go, baby. All right. In our first matchup, we have Los Borrachos versus the Arab Sensations. Los Borrachos with a projected 122 versus the Arab Sensations projected at 118. Los Borrachos, fourth place. Arab Sensations, fifth place. Los Borrachos is starting Josh Allen, Marvin Harrison Jr., Brian Thomas Jr., B. John Robinson, Jordan Mason, Don Kincaid, Chuba Hubbard, Dontavian Wicks, and the Buffalo defense. The Arab Sensation is starting C.J. Stroud, Garrett Wilson, Drake London, Javonte Williams, Tank Bigsby, Sam Laporta, Brian Robinson Jr., Malik Neighbors, and the San Francisco defense. But yeah, Josh Allen, fuck. It's kind of hard to trust him against the Jets. The Jets have been shutting down quarterbacks this past for a while now. I picked up Jared Goff against Dallas. I think that would be a better matchup for him. I might start him over Allen. Give Allen a rest. See what the fuck he does. If he puts up, then hey, he goes back into my starting lineup. If not, he stays on my bench. Marvin Harrison Jr. versus at Green Bay. Man, I don't know. He's been letting me down the last few games, but I mean, it's not like I have anyone really I could start over him. I mean, I could put Wicks up there or McConkey against Denver. Or I could put Wicks as up in my wide receivers and then start Tajay Spears against a good against a bad ND defense. Oh, man, I just can't wait till Cup gets back. I don't have to worry about that shit. Brian Thomas Jr. I mean, against Chicago, I know they were shutting down wide receivers. They just shut down Deontay Johnson and Xavier Leggett, but I think Trevor Lawrence could get it done, man. Should get it done. Bijan versus Carolina. I mean, just saw Swift run all over them. I don't see why Bijan wouldn't be able to do it. Jordan Mason at Seattle. Just saw Tyron Tracy run all over them too. Jordan Mason, man, the Niners need to get back to that run fucking game. They're over here trying to overthrow and shit, and have Brock Purdy throw for 300 yards every game. That's just not what he does. Kincaid, fucking, I mean, as long as like he gives me 5-6 points, like fuck it, I guess I had a good day, you know. No one on the wire that I'd be able to trust over Kincaid, at least to give me those points. Chuba Hubbard, I mean, he's been solid for me all season, so I just continue to start him. Wicks versus Arizona. I mean, got to start the process, especially with Watson not being there. Romeo Dobbs, who knows if he comes back? Might get traded or some shit. But yeah, Buffalo Bills. I just picked them up this morning, just because I mean, against the Jets, and then they have another few good matchups coming up, so I don't have to keep going to the wire every weekend for defense. But yeah, those are pretty much the guys I might just end up starting with Leggett gets Atlanta or McConkey at Denver, or like I said, Tajay Spears versus Indy. He's been giving double-digit points, and against an Indy defense, I think he can get it done. And McConkey, I mean, Quentin Johnson's back, and Palmer should be back, but I mean that could open up more lanes for him. Just got to see how Herbert's doing as far as he's able to throw and shit like that. Arab Sensations with CJ Stroud. I mean, like I said, he just lost Nico Collins. I mean, Stephon Diggs and Tank Dell are still there, but Tank Dell hasn't really done shit all season. Even when he went out, Nico Collins, it's not like Tank Dell took advantage of that. Against New England, New England has a pretty tough defense. He might get the Gonzalez, the Gonzalez treatment could get shut down. Garrett Wilson versus Buffalo. I mean, they just gave him the ball 22 times and shit. So I mean, some of them is bound to land. And against Buffalo, I mean, might be a small shootout game. Who knows? And then with the new coach, might get more revitalized, whatever the fuck. They might feel better and maybe do better without Robert Saleh. Drake London at Carolina. I mean, just had a monster game last week against Tampa Bay. I don't see why he doesn't do it against Carolina. I mean, like I said, I could get game scripted out if they're up by a lot. They won't need to throw too much. But that's what I'm hoping for. But who knows? Javonte Williams at the Chargers. Chargers have a tough run defense. I mean, Williams had a good game last last week because they played against the Raiders. I just don't know how he'll do against the Chargers. And then Tank Bigsby versus Chicago. Yeah, Chuba Hubbard just ran over him. I think he had like a 30-yard touchdown. So I don't see why Tank wouldn't be able to do it. He's getting that run as the first and second down running back. Looks like ETN is now the third back. I mean the third down back because he's more of a pass catcher, and Tank Bigsby is a little between the tackles type of guy. Sam Laporta against Dallas. I mean, hopefully, I mean that puts up some points against Dallas. Dallas is struggling with that defense. Barely beat the Steelers, I think, Sunday. Brian Robinson, solid all season. You could run on Baltimore. No, wait. Or is it the opposite? No, yeah, they're a pass funnel. They're Baltimore's a pass funnel. You can't really run on them, but again, solid all season. I don't see a reason to sit him. And Malik Neighbors, they said he's still in concussion protocol, but he's out there. So I mean, that's a good sign. Maybe he's getting over those concussion symptoms. San Francisco versus Seattle. I mean, unless you're gonna want to drop him for somebody else, I don't see why not. Yeah, I mean, Anthony Richardson coming back. I don't think Josh Downs will do that well. Benson, you're waiting for an injury to Connor. Warren they already said he was doubtful. And like I said, ETN got moved to that third down back. He has been struggling. I think they said he had a shoulder injury or some shit like that. I think that's why he was out. And Tank got some run. I mean, Odunze would be good against Jacksonville, just because you could throw on Jacksonville, but just no one I'd set on your team unless you put Robinson in, said Javonte Williams, and then put Odunze as your flex. Up to you, man. I'm sure you don't believe me and shit. But yeah, we'll see. We shouldn't actually no, because you'll have Wilson, and if I play Allen and Kincaid, we'd have to wait till Monday. I hate fucking waiting till Monday to know if I won or lost. But yeah, man, fuck you. No good luck to you. Go on and move on to the next one. Let's go, baby. All right, in our next matchup, we have Los Tanks versus OG Men. Los Tanks projected at 120, OG Men projected at 111. Los Tanks 8th, OG Men 9th. Like I said, Los Tanks on a 2-game losing streak. OG Men, I think, has lost only one. Back and forth. Los Tanks is starting Dak Prescott, Tebow Samuel, DJ Moore, Alvin Kamara, DeAndre Swift, Jake Ferguson, Amari Cooper, Ray McLeod, and the Denver defense. OG Men is starting Baker Mayfield, Michael Pittman Jr., Deontay Johnson, Kenneth Walker, Joe Mixon, Tyler Conklin, Keenan Allen, Devontae Smith, and the Colts defense. Yeah, so los tanks. Dak Prescott against Detroit. I mean, Detroit's a pass funnel, as they say, where you could pretty much throw all the time against Detroit. They usually stop the run. They didn't stop Kenneth Walker. I think that's the only running back that's Detroit had a problem with. Debo versus Seattle. I mean, I don't know what happened in the last game. I didn't really watch it, so uh, yeah, maybe he bounces back, has a good game. DJ Moore versus Jacksonville. I mean, like I said, you could throw on Jacksonville, so that should be a good matchup for him. Like I said, Alvin Kamara with Derek Carr not there, they might just stack the box, have the rookie or the backup try to beat them. So yeah, just temper expectation for Alvin Kamara. I don't think he'll get those check down targets he was getting from Carr. Swift versus Jacksonville. Yeah, Jacksonville's a pretty bad defense, so that should be good for him. Jake Ferguson versus Detroit. Might be a mini shootout. People are saying get as many pieces as you can from this game. Start them. Should have a good game. Still starting Cooper against Philly. Just Cooper, man. I don't know. Ray McLeod versus Carolina. Like I said, I don't know if they'll have to throw versus Carolina. Just because, I mean, it's Carolina. But he has been getting targets, so it's just touchdowns what he lacks. Maybe he'll get one in the end zone this weekend. Denver versus the Chargers. Denver has been a solid fucking defense, so that should be good for him. I mean, for Denver, I think they'll do well against the Chargers. And then with Herbert not 100%, I mean, who knows how he is after this bye week? But yeah, I got everybody on bye this week, huh? Kyron Williams, Tyreek Hill, Jordan Addison. Good thing you haven't dealt with too much injury there. As for OG men, Baker Mayfield, I mean, he had a blow up game. He's been doing pretty well, especially with those two weapons, Mike Evans and Chris Godwin. I don't see why he doesn't continue it. Michael Pittman Jr. at Tennessee. Tennessee's a pretty good defense, and if Anthony Richards comes back, I don't know how he'll do. He might get, I mean, those targets, but I think you'd like those targets being better from Joe Flacco. Deontay Johnson versus Atlanta. I mean, a little bit better of a matchup. We just saw Mike Evans and Chris Godwin kind of run all over him, so I think he should be good. Kenneth Walker versus San Francisco. I mean, he's getting the bulk of those carries. Connor just ran all over him too, so that San Francisco looking a little suspect. Joe Mixon, like I said, it looks like he re-aggravated it, so it's gonna be tough. Plus, New England has a pretty good run defense also. Tyler Conklin versus Buffalo. I mean, he's getting the targets. I see that they could move the ball that way. Keenan Allen versus Jacksonville. I mean, like I said, you could throw on Jacksonville, so Keenan Allen should have a good game. Devontae Smith versus Cleveland. I mean, like I said, all those weapons are coming back healthy. Him and AJ Brown. So it should be good for him. Colts versus Tennessee. I mean, if Will Levis plays, you get a few turnovers and stuff like that. Damn. Yeah, I mean, you're hoping Nick Chubb gets activated this week. That we could start him, I guess, if Mixon doesn't go. Yeah, Pacheco. I mean, they're saying maybe week 12, but by that point, I mean, you're just kind of trying to survive. Same thing with McCaffrey. I think they're saying maybe after the Thanksgiving break. I don't know, man. It's three IR running backs. I mean, I think there's still some guys left on the wire that you could probably spot start. I think Akers, Pierce, and even a Wale are on the wire. Maybe Wale has been solid, double digits. Akers, if it wasn't for a touchdown, I mean, I don't think he'd have a pretty good day. So yeah, just something to take a look at. Because you need upside. Yeah, man. Good luck to both of you. Let's go, baby. All right, in our next matchup, we have Mike and the Boys versus the Warhammers. Mike and the Boys projected at 128. Warhammers projected at 116. Mike and the Boys, 6th place. Warhammers, 3rd place. Mike and the Boys is starting Kirk Cousins, CeeDee Lamb, Stephon Diggs, Josh Jacobs, David Montgomery, George Kittle, T. Higgins, Say Flowers, and the Chargers defense. Warhammers starting Jaden Daniels, Mike Evans, Christian Kirk, Brees Hall, Brilliant Allen, Dallas Goddard, George Pickens, Terry McLaurin, and the Pittsburgh defense. I mean, Kirk Cousins, I don't expect him to have to go nuclear like he did against Tampa Bay versus Carolina. Carolina's not that tough of a defense. Could have a down game. I wouldn't say down like 10 points, but I think maybe 20. Like pretty much is projected, he should be fine. CeeDee Lamb, I mean, against Detroit. Detroit's a pass funnel team. You could throw all over Detroit. So should be a good matchup for him. Stephon Diggs versus New England. New England's a pretty tough defense, but like I said, he won't get the Gonzalez shadow. He'll be in the slot, so he should do well. Josh Jacobs versus Arizona. Arizona not a good defense either, so Josh Jacobs will get some good run. Same thing with Montgomery against Dallas. I mean, Montgomery's been solid all season, so just keep starting him. Kittle, since he came back, gained those targets and stuff like that. Like I said, I don't know if they changed their game plan after losing to Arizona. Maybe try and run the ball a little more. Get away from Brock Purdy throwing it so many times in a game. T. Higgins came back to life last game, but I don't think they're going to have to throw too much against the Giants. I mean, maybe they'll keep it competitive. Cincinnati doesn't have a really good defense. But, I mean, Daniel Jones, man. Zay Flowers versus Washington. I mean, I don't know if they're going to have to throw like that. I mean, he got some points last game because they had to throw against Cincinnati. But, yeah. Chargers versus Denver. I mean, Bo Nix. Chargers should have everybody back healthy. Plus, they had 2 weeks to game plan for them. So, I think that's a solid start. I mean, they're saying Singletary is trending up as far as to play. Maybe versus whatchamacallit. Is that I'm not a Say Flowers fan like that, so yeah. Yeah, I don't know anybody on your bench I'd start. So yeah, I guess Say Flowers it is. Warhammers. Jaden Daniels against Baltimore. I mean, just saw Joe Burrow torch him for 5 touchdowns. He might have to throw in this game, especially if Baltimore gets up on a lead against that shitty Washington defense. Mike Evans versus New Orleans. I mean, he always gets shut down by Lattimore, man. If you look back on their history, Lattimore just has his number. Just FYI, take a look at it if you don't want to take my word for it. But there's a history there. Christian Kirk versus Chicago. Like I said, it's hard to throw on Chicago, but I mean, I believe in Trevor Lawrence to get them the ball. So, yeah. Plus, he started getting more targets. But if Mike Evans, Evan Ingram gets back, we just got to see how that looks because he's been out for a while. So they've been feeding Thomas and Kirk, but I don't know how it will look with Evan Ingram coming back. Brees Hall versus Buffalo. I mean, this is what from now on, this is the strength of schedule that should favor Brees Hall. I mean, change of coach, maybe they just say fuck it, let's just give it all to Brees Hall. Well, that wouldn't bode well for Braylon Allen if you're starting him. If they just keep him, but I don't see why they wouldn't keep starting him. Man, he's been solid. He's a good running back. Dallas Goedert. I mean, against not just against Cleveland, but the fact that AJ Brown and Devontae Smith are back, I think those targets will go down a bit. George Pickens versus Las Vegas. I mean, he should do well. Fucking Las Vegas sucks. That defense, man, hasn't stepped up. But yeah, I mean, people are saying like he might get traded to KC. People are tired of his shit talking, I guess, in the locker room and all this stuff about him not getting the ball. So who knows? Terry McLaurin versus Baltimore. I mean, yeah, like I said, you could run on. I mean, you could throw on. What the fuck? You could throw on Baltimore. Sorry. Saw T. Higgins do it. Jamar Chase do it. I think McLaurin could handle that. Pittsburgh versus Las Vegas. Yeah, I mean, fucking Las Vegas, man. I don't know what the fuck happened. Yeah, you got Zach Moss injured. Maybe Khalif. Oh well, you got those are wide receivers. You would need I mean, Madison versus Pittsburgh. He's getting the touches and targets. So yeah, I was surprised you used up your waiver wire on a wide receiver when you have like damn ton of wide receivers. Maybe you could trade one of them and get yourself a running back, especially with Zach Moss going down. I haven't seen much about him, but I think he's supposed to miss this week. Mm. But yeah, man. I think there's some guys left over on the wire for running backs. Let me see. Give you a quick rundown. Maybes. I mean, I'm telling you, Roshan Johnson, man, like he gets those goal line touches, good for a touchdown. He has a good matchup against Jacksonville. I've been saying Agumawale has been pretty solid. And like I said, I don't think Joe Mixon's gonna play. Shit, Cam Akers still there, but like I said, he hasn't really done much with his touches. With they already ruled Patterson out for week 6 against the Raiders. But yeah, man. I mean, like I said, just as if he's, what if Swift goes down, Rashad Johnson moves into that starter position? I mean, that offensive line sucks, but I don't know. Yeah, slim pickings in the waiver wire. Not just that, but I mean, also with bye weeks. But yeah, man, I don't know. Good luck to both of you. Or I'll move on to the next one, next matchup. Let's go, baby. All right, in our next matchup, we have the Nighthawk versus the En Fuegos. The Nighthawk projected at 111 versus the En Fuegos projected at 122. Nighthawk in 7th, En Fuegos 10th place. Nighthawk is starting Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, Wandale Robinson, Derrick Henry, James Cook, Travis Kelce, that's on a bye, Tank Dell, Alan Lazard, and the New Orleans defense. The En Fuegos starting Kyler Murray, Brandon Ayuk, Chris Olave, Rico Dowdle, Jameer Gibbs, Trey McBride, A.J. Brown, Tucker Kraft, and the Houston defense. All right. So Chase, Burrow, that stack against the Giants. I mean, I don't project 50 points from each this week again, but I mean, Giants are pretty I mean, they just shut down Metcalf and Seattle, but I mean, it could be anybody's game. But yeah, it'll be hard to to not bet on them putting up some points there. And then Wandale Robertson versus Cincinnati. Like I said, he's getting those targets, double digits. Derrick Henry against Washington. I said Washington has a bad defense. James Cook versus the Jets. Jets are a pretty tough defense against the run. Like I said, with the new coach and everything, I don't know how that offense is gonna do anything. The Bills, especially the Bills, struggling. On a bye, hasn't picked up anybody. Picked up Juju though. uh, Smooth. Picked up Juju, but not a backup. I guess that's how he's gonna roll. I think he thinks with the Burrow Chase stack, it'd be enough to put points. Tank Dell against New England. He might get the Gonzalez shadow because he sometimes gets puts on the edges. But again, I mean, I don't know, man. He hasn't done shit all season, so that's a risk there. Lazard versus Buffalo. I mean, like I said, I'm sure that they're going to come out shooting, throwing the ball and everything, trying to get as much as their weapons involved. And Lazard has been a good weapon for what's his name, Rogers. So yeah, New Orleans. I mean, without Derek Carr there, and then Tampa Bay, you know, putting up points and shit like that. I don't know. You don't want to end up with a 1 or a 0 there, especially with when you're all getting a 0 from Kelsey already. I mean, Sutton, even Coleman or Schuster. Why do you? Why are you going all in on the on the? All right, on the Chiefs. But yeah, there's plenty of tight ends on the wire. Anyways, yeah, not much advice I could give you. I wouldn't start any of these guys over any of your starters. Uh, so yeah, the En Fuegos, Kyler Murray, I guess sitting Jalen Hurts. It could be a shootout against Green Bay. It's at Green Bay. We'll see. Ayuk versus Seattle should have a good game. Olave, man, I don't know if, especially with, like I said, a rookie or the backup, when the backup came in. Honestly, I didn't watch the game, so I couldn't tell you how it went, but not good. Dowdle versus Detroit. Like I said, they're tough against the run. I mean, he might get some passes. Maybe he'll make his fantasy day that way with passes. Jahmyr Gibbs versus Dallas. I mean, solid. He's been solid all season. Trey McBride versus Green Bay. AJ Brown versus Cleveland. Finally back. I mean, they're not saying anything as far as like him being eased in or anything like that. I think he's a full go. Tucker Craft. I mean, that was blown up for the last two games. I think he had 2 touchdowns last game, so hopefully he keeps the hot streak going. Houston versus New England, especially with Drake May starting. Mm. Yeah, no one on your bench I'd start over some of these guys. I mean, Tyrone Tracy did pretty well, but if Singletary comes back, I don't think they're going to give him the same workload that he had with Singletary. Your best bet is that he probably takes over that starting role, which I thought he would earlier in the season. Mm. Maybe really think about Hurts over Murray. Problem is, if it's not a shootout, it doesn't. And Hurts has been struggling this season, but I think that had to do with just not having AJ Brown and Devontae Smith. I mean, Tolbert could have a great game against Detroit. Start him over Olave just because of the uncertainty of Olave. And you need a win, man. You have to start playing the matchups and not of what they can do. You just need stability on those fucking on those players. So hopefully with Ayuk and Brown, Ayuk coming back, put up a solid stat line last game. But Olave with just 3 last game, and like I said, with a backup, I don't know how they'll do. And then Dowdle, like I said, against Detroit, that's a bad matchup. So yeah, man, good luck. Maybe hopefully you get your first win, or Nighthawk keep it going, keep moving up the ranks. But maybe try look into Kelsey, because I mean anything can happen with Joe Burrow and Chase. So yeah, good luck to both of you. Let's go, baby. All right. In our last matchup, we have the Rebel Scum versus the Rook. Rebel Scum projected 121. The Rook projected at 111. Rebel Scum first place. The Rook second. Uh, Rebel Scum starting Lamar Jackson, Jackson Smith and Jigba, Amon Ross St. Brown, James Conner, Tony Pollard, Pat Fryermuth, Najee Harris, Chase Brown, and the Philly defense. The Rook starting Justin Fields, DK Metcalf, Chris Godwin, Saquon Barkley, Jonathan Taylor, Kyle Pitts, uh, Jaden Reed, no flex, and the Chicago defense. So Lamar Jackson versus Washington. That should be a good matchup for him. Washington defense sucks. Jackson Smith and Jigba versus San Francisco. I mean, Arizona was able to put up points against them. Their second wide receiver, Michael Wilson, had a pretty good game. I think he put up like 10 points. Amon-Ra St. Brown versus Dallas. I mean, St. Brown, solid. Connor versus Green Bay. I mean, Green Bay's not that good at stopping the run. Kyron Williams just scored on him and ran all over him. Tony Pollard versus Indy. Like I said, Indy has a fucking bad defense against the run. I don't see why they wouldn't continue doing that, especially how Will Levis looks. Just run the fucking ball and let them running backs do their thing. Pollard and Spears. Fryermuth versus Las Vegas. I mean, that should be a good matchup. Like I said, Las Vegas sucks. Najee Harris versus Las Vegas. He should do well. I mean, he's had pretty good matchups, and he hasn't put up those bomb numbers that we thought he would. Chase Brown versus the Giants should be a good matchup for him, especially with no Zach Moss. It should get the boatload of carries. Philly versus Cleveland. Yeah, fucking Cleveland sucks. Got Jefferson on a bye. HN, concussion. Yeah, Shaheed, no car. Stevenson against Houston should be all right. Evan Ingram coming back. Maybe. Or Ramondre Stevenson over Najee. Maybe. Jacoby Myers. I mean, he'll get the Joey Porter treatment. So, I don't know. I don't know how he did last game. Fucking Las Vegas. Disappointed me this season. But yeah, man, maybe Stevenson over Harris. Maybe Ingram over Fryermuth. Nah, Fryermuth has been solid. And plus, Ingram's coming off an injury. Maybe they'll ease him in. The Rook starting Justin Fields versus Las Vegas. I don't know, man. They might not even need to throw in this game. But hopefully, maybe he gets a little run or gets in for a touchdown. DK Metcalf versus San Francisco. He should have a solid game. That should. I don't think. I mean, it could be a small shootout. It's a Thursday night game. I mean, we're hoping for points, kind of like in that Atlanta Tampa Bay, but we'll see how they want to do the game. If it just turns into a run game. Chris Godwin versus New Orleans. I said a lot of focus goes to Mike Evans with Lattimore shadowing him, so Goodwin should have a good game. Barkley. I mean, you start Saquon. Taylor, I'm gonna say if he plays, even if he plays, that's a tough Tennessee run defense. So I don't know. And like I said, he's not practicing, and they're saying they might just hold him out this game. Just what I heard. Starting Kyle Pitts versus Carolina. That's funny. I don't know, man. Cade Otton has been pretty good. He put up a solid stat line. But then again, yeah, they might not need to throw against New Orleans. So yeah, I guess might as roll the dice with Pitts. Jaden Reed, I mean, ever since Love came back, he's been pretty solid. So yeah. Empty flex. Chicago versus Jacksonville. Yeah, I mean, get some sacks on Trevor Lawrence. Maybe some fumbles or something. I mean, J.K. Dobbins at Denver. You could run on Denver. Or This guy, Jameson Williams. Jameson Williams could get some run in that matchup. Like I said, that could be a sneaky shootout. So it'd be between them two. Maybe see how the morning games treat you, and then that way you'll know if you need upside or if you just need a safe floor. J.K. Dobbins would be your floor, and Williams would be your boomer bust. But yeah, if Taylor's out, I don't know, man. Maybe Godson, or Charbonnet. Problem is that you'd have to start Charbonnet on Thursday night, and you probably won't get an answer for Taylor until Sunday. I mean, if you want to chase that, or Cam Akers again, or Agumba Wale. Yeah, not sure, man. That's a hard decision, especially because, yeah, I mean, who would you drop? I mean, at this point, it'd be Auden if you're not going to use him. But yeah, man. Good luck to both of you. First and second place, huh? All right. So just wanted to give you guys an update on that whole upcoming game. So December 15, seems like everyone decided yes on it. So Aziz is gonna let us know. I think we're gonna send it to Danny P. Looks like 115 each, and that'll be 2 parking spots and the game ticket. So yeah, I think they're gonna let us know when to send it. See if everyone could send the cash right away, that we could get these tickets and all that stuff settled and shit like that, and then we could start planning as far as what to do at the tailgate and things like that. So but yeah, and me and Fernando were talking about maybe setting up an Oktoberfest. I'm thinking maybe more realistically it'll be on a Sunday, just because, I mean, if everyone's watching the games on a Sunday, maybe we could hit up one of those spots. I think it's called Old World Village in Huntington Beach. I've been there before. It's pretty cool. I'm sure they have TVs and stuff like that. I remember seeing TVs or something like that. So I'm sure they might have some games so we could watch it there and stuff like that. But yeah, we'll let you guys know, see what's up. If not, maybe set up a carne asada before just to kind of hang out and shit, and maybe watch some of the games. So yeah, I'll keep you posted on that. All right, and that'll do it for me this week. So good luck to you bitches. Not you, Arab Sensations. Fuck that. I gotta get a win. Stay up there. But everybody else, good luck. Peace out. Talk to you guys later.
Thank you for watching the Los Borrachos Happy Hour. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Until next time.